come, we've had some fun.
It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun, it's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Happy Saturday morning. Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, episode number 113. My name is Tony B. Alongside me, as usual, is David B. Timmy D is out today. David B, industry headlines. Tony B, I'll cover the largest 3PLs and the largest carriers and look at their volume and revenue numbers. The views of Ship's Gonna Happen are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses it. David, why do we do it?
Transportainment.
Kaboom! Transportainment, that's right. Ship's Gonna Happen. You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google, Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. You can catch us on all the platforms. Just put our name into the search engine. David B., happy Saturday morning, brother.
Good Saturday morning, producer Tony. It's a pleasure to see you as always. Tim's out doing some charity golf outing this morning, which is awesome. I hope he's out there enjoying the day. It's a little bit of a very rainy, dreary start to the Saturday, but it's a nice kind of soothing day, or at least in my opinion. Rain's coming down just a little bit, and we're here on the 19th green this morning, and Tony's yard is, no matter what the conditions are, it is impeccable. It is a beautiful looking yard.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's awesome. This show, along with all our other shows, are brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go after Ship's Gonna Happen week. Great place to go to unwind, kind of chat it up with the locals, hear some good music. Just a great place to go and kind of relax after what this week has definitely been a Ship's Gonna Happen week. I want to thank them also for having us there at their place last Saturday morning. They did an outstanding job taking care of us. We are greatly appreciative of them and having us in their restaurant or establishment. And we're going to go back again first Saturday of October. We'll be back there. And those of you listening and they're going to be in the area or can stop by, we'd more than welcome to have you stop by. We had some great guests last week. Matt G, number 2, Bill P, and then of course Francois, and it was and then also James, the owner of the Great Divide.
Yeah.
Very, very good to have their insight. Very good to have them stop by and say hello. It was outstanding. Producer Tony did a great job. It was a lot of fun. So again, this show, along with our other shows, brought to you by The Great Divide.
Nice, David B. So Timmy D doing the charity function.
Yeah, doing a charity golf outing today.
Matty G, our fill-in, he has vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was fun last week.
Yeah, it was.
It was a lot of fun. It's always fun to be there. We'll be there October, right?
Yeah, the first Saturday in October. I think it's I don't remember what date that would be, but I'm going to guess somewhere around the 4th or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're all right with that. Definitely. They do a really good job of taking care of us. And I'll try to work on some guests now or whatever. So
I thought setting up and stuff was pretty easy.
Yeah, the nice setup. I'll post a picture or two on social media when they come up. So it was a good time. It's just, I mean, I always like that stuff. Always nice to have those people show up also, that we reach out to, the people that listen.
Yeah, the show.
Our Hall of Famers and stuff. So it was really nice. Really, really good time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hooking that up.
How
David.
are you this morning, producer?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Imagine your week has been a little bit of a whirlwind considering the stuff that's been going on in the industry.
Yeah, obviously the carrier I work for had to negotiate and take some business on, and all the other carriers I think have taken some business on from Yellow. You wouldn't think it'd be that impactful to the industry, but you take a $5 billion carrier out, and That's got to go somewhere.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's been some congestions in some areas. Seems like the company's working through it pretty good, but it's creating a little bit of some headaches somewhere, and for you too.
Yeah, definitely for you. Yeah, you're seeing definitely some congestion. Things taking maybe a day or two longer. In pre-show, Tony had mentioned that, and I think he's right with this, that it's almost kind of got that COVID kind of feel to it again, where things kind of got all out of whack or whatever, and it's kind of going to be out of whack for a little bit longer. So, and it's it's an unfortunate circumstance that 30,000 people lost their job, but I think the market, it'll kind of work itself out, I guess. Right?
Yeah, I think it's like 6 to 8 more weeks of like a little bit of goofiness, and then I'm hoping by Labor Day well, that's closer than 6 to 8 weeks, but
Sure
I'm hoping by
is.
Labor Day
Right around the corner.
I
really.
know it is, isn't it? It's kind of sad. It's like,
Is it 3 Fridays?
yeah, August used to be like, remember when we were little and you thought about summer, it's like August was still kind of the heavy thick of the summer, and then now August seems like it's the beginning of,
Because we didn't go back to school until
Right.
late August.
I know.
22nd, 23rd.
We didn't go till after Labor Day in Chicago.
Oh,
It was late after Labor Day, but if you were in sports, you were already doing your clinics and stuff before. But yeah, you didn't start till after Labor Day. You started on like a Tuesday.
And you didn't need a week for fall vacation.
There
or
was
whatever.
the fall break,
Come on, man.
spring break,
Yeah.
Christmas break. I mean, what a scam that is, right?
Yeah.
Let's vote for year-round school, but not make it year-round. We'll just cut up the summer and go back earlier,
Yep.
and then we'll have 2 weeks in October off, and then we'll take 30 days off in Christmas,
Right.
and then we'll take another 2 weeks in the spring. It's like, what?
Back in my day.
Yeah. Do you think that was to benefit the teachers or the students?
I'm not, you know what? That's a good question. Does it benefit it? I mean, I
think it benefits the teachers because they get more time off during the year, which is what they wanted. So they're going back early. I guess it's a trade-off, but for families like me and you, I mean, you're planning summer vacations, right? You're not planning like going to California or wherever you're going to go in October, right? I mean, who plans that?
Yeah.
At your job, it's going to be busy at that time of the year, right? You got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. And you guys are, trying to do your best for ending your year numbers. And
Right.
hey, here's 2 weeks off.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't work.
The company I work for now, they've decided the goddamn dumbest thing. And I don't ever take I don't ever take days off, so I guess I don't give a crap. But their year-end fiscal inventory is now legitimately year-end. So when people are trying to take holiday time off, they can't let them take the time off because of inventory, which is so stupid.
Man.
Yeah, you think about how many people that pisses
Oh, yeah.
off.
I bet people are like, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm there all the time anyway, so I don't really. I mean, but I get the people that are bothered by it, and I just don't understand that. The 2 weeks before, yeah, yep, great, perfect. The 2 weeks of, it just is so dumb. But whatever.
So you've had to do some moving of freight around and stuff.
Yeah.
How has that worked out for you as far
That's
as
a great question.
you had a long-term
already-
relationship with them?
Very long-term relationship with Yellow, and it's been an easy transition. And I mean, I already had kind of oars in the water,
Right.
for years, technically. But now, we've already had like a solid 2, and now that solid 2 is a solid 1, and they were already doing a good job. Yeah, I mean, it's been what it is, and we've added FedEx Freight, which isn't. I mean, it's kind of out of necessity. I don't know if we'll stick with them for underlying reasons. I'm not sure if we're going to stick with them for very long. We actually eliminated another carrier. We eliminated R&L. I have no problems with saying any of that. Just for various reasons. Yeah, so it's okay. And again, it's been a little bumpy, but
Yeah.
I think we're coming through it okay. So you would like to see, I mean, transit times will improve. I know things
Yeah.
are just busy, but it's okay. It's nothing nothing that hasn't really happened before, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you already had, like you said, you had some feet running in the ground in case you needed it, and then you just made that move.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I've had to going back to the yellow thing. I don't remember if I touched on this last week or not, but I've had some nice conversations with former yellow employees that I've had connections with, and I want to wish everybody well, and I hope they do well. And it's nice to have those people reach out to you and say, hey, if I'm ever in Indy, let's get together. Or, I kind of reciprocate by, if I'm out that way, let's definitely hook up or whatever. So I hope everybody does well and lands on their feet. And I'm sure that some people already have, and I'm sure people already have feelers out too.
Yeah, I think, a lot of a very experienced company, right? So I think, and good employees, I think they'll find jobs.
Matt and Tim will be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're already got some things cooking. So
yeah.
Man.
Yeah. But what are you seeing though, Tony? What are the company you work for, what are you experiencing? Is it too chaotic? Is it
just pockets of madness? Just pockets of, might turn off an area for quoting, but we still pick up and deliver there. So we're asking the customer.
That can be a little deceiving though.
It can be. I don't like it because you got to have, everybody wants to see what it's going to cost. Right. So, just giving the bill of lading to the carrier. I mean, if you ship there regularly and you know the price, then that's one thing. But
if you're on my end and you may be dealing with people that don't know what's going on, and when you look to quote a certain lane and it's turned off, customers are also gonna think that, well, they're not going there right
exactly
now, which isn't the scenario.
It's not.
But that could lead to that, or probably would be the number one thought. Like, I guess they're not going to Salt Lake City today.
Well, yeah, because you've got your sales team quoting and wanting to do, what's the freight cost on this, and they can't get it. So, or they're calling you and asking you, what's the freight cost of this? We need to quote it, and then you can't provide it to certain areas. But they've turned them back. They've turned a lot of them back on.
I noticed Friday they had turned quite a few back on.
So I think it's clearing out, but California's a little backed up right now, and I didn't really discover this until
backed up right now.
So am I. So I didn't really discover this toward the middle of the week, where it makes sense, but it kind of snowballed on them there. But it's just tough, and you've got a market where it's hard to find people that want to go work on a dock for 8 to 10 hours a day.
Who only works 8 hours a day?
Hardly anybody anymore. Our people have been working Saturdays and Sundays to clear through the freight.
Right.
So, but no, thanks for asking. It's been a little bit chaotic.
Somebody else, and I don't like talking about other people's demise, but the demise of this has to kind of give you a good feeling about your long term, where you are, particularly as an employee of the company you work for. It has to be somewhat of a comforting feeling knowing that your job is safe. Or I would assume that you think it's safe.
Yeah, I think
you.
Yeah, I think so. I think
the next 10 years or however many years you're going to work.
I think. I think what it does, that's a great point, is I thought about this, is it makes you realize the place that you work at, one, and they've been successful, and then they seem to always be positioning themselves for the next 5 to 10 years. And I think something like this makes carriers wake up in one way and get better, because you're going to have to take on more freight. So yeah, I think it's put good pressure on the company, and I think it makes the employees realize you work for a carrier that didn't go out of business and you're profitable. So yeah, I think it helps in all those aspects. The job security thing, though, you realize, well, heck, you see how much they need you during a time like this, right? And so it makes you realize, well, they're going to need you for a while.
So driving over here, one of the things I was thinking about today, and again, I'm not advocating against, nor am I advocating for the benefit of a union, but driving over now, when you think about like a company that you work for, or a Saia or an OD or they're chugging along just fine without
Yeah.
unions.
Right.
I'm not advocating against one. I'm just trying to understand, is that necessarily something that's needed in this day and age or whatever? But I mean, you look at UPS, I mean, bargaining with their union stuff, wouldn't even really, it didn't hurt them at all.
No.
You know, if
No.
anything, it probably improved them. you
Yeah.
know, as far as the business is concerned. So
I think
I
if
don't know,
you're,
just a thought.
Yeah.
Just thought that I had driving over. I'm like, is it? I mean,
well, if you have, I mean, if you look at the biggest entrepreneurs, whether they're liberal or Republican, Democrat, Republican, whatever, if you look at all the social media platforms that are out there, if you look at what do they call that area out in Silicon Valley?
yeah.
If you look at all those companies, they're not union.
Mhm.
There's none of these companies running out and going, "Hey, we're a union. We're a union social marketing firm."
Yeah.
No,
So
nobody
it's
does
It's
that.
a small percentage. I mean,
They try to
we had
avoid it.
these numbers on the podcast
Yeah.
about a month ago. It's a small percentage of the workforce that is
Right.
actually union. But are they needed though? Are there instances where they are needed, whether it be a nursing union or a coffee shop? I don't know. I'm trying to.
I think a lot of
I'm
it's
trying to understand.
I think a lot of it's been negated though. Indiana's a right to work state, right?
Mhm.
So those union labor laws are going to be a little easier to get around in a state like this and with the right to work. So when the union goes and files whatever, it's going to be a little different, right?
Mhm.
In Illinois, it's probably a lot better being in a union. But yeah, I think 401ks, when companies started doing the 401ks and employee match, kind of took care of the union. Was always a place you could go work 20 or 30 years and retire, right? Because you got a pension. Well, 401ks kind of does the same thing. You work somewhere 20, 30 years and invest, and then the company's matching your investment. I mean, it would be a good thing to really probably dissect it in this way. Take a 20 or 30-year union employee, see what they retire with, and then take a comparable pay type person that's non-union and see what they retire with based on their 401k and things like that. My guess is it's probably there's more risk in the 401k, right?
So my father-in-law is a retired auto employee, so that would be a good question to ask him.
Yeah. And they've changed the unions. When I was at UPS, they changed the contract, right? So these things used to pay out till you die. I think some of them now have been modified where they're only going to pay you X amount. So
like one lump sum.
yeah, maybe a lump sum or something like that, because they don't want to pay you all that. And then, to me, it's like the old fire department, that starts up in the small town and you got fire to pay their pensions. You're going to have to hire, double the staff in the following years to pay their pensions. So
is that ultimately the demise, you think?
I think so. Yeah. I think you just don't have enough, that fire department isn't going to expand out into other towns and then control all the, you know what I mean?
Well, the other towns are volunteer.
Volunteer. That's right. And that's why all those popped up, was to get out of that type of pension. I mean, we saw here in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis police and then the county merge because they can't pay these pensions long term. They have to double the size of the police forces to end up paying them long term. For you and I to retire, we'll need 2 or 3 employees paying into the pension to pay our pension. You know what I'm saying?
What's in your head? In your head, what's a number? Like if Tony Bebnick was retiring, Tony B was retiring today, what is your in your head number? Or do you have one, or is it just circumstantial? I don't know what a right number is. Is 800 grand enough? Is 1.3 million enough? Is blah 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 enough? I don't know.
Well, here, think of it this
You got
way.
to stay healthy though.
If you and I win
Don't fucking get sick.
no.
Sorry.
If you and I win the lotto today, 1 million. Say we win $1 million. Okay, that's 40 grand for 20 years, right? Well, they're going to take probably almost half of it, so you only get 500
if you don't
grand.
take it in a lump sum,
Right. So then it'd be then we'd be like 40 grand a year. I mean,
That's not enough.
no, I mean, so really you need probably like 3 million, like 2 to 3 million in your retirement to be able to till if you retire at 65 and you want to live 20 years to 85, 90. I mean, I think that's why we see some of these people that are in their 80s and 90s. We go like they're tight with money.
Huge. Well, yeah, I think in my head for the longest time, I'm working for the benefit of other people, like my children. I'm not working for my benefit in retirement. I'm working in case something happens to me. I don't know if that's the right way to look at it. I watched a Frontline. And I know I'm an extremely boring person, but Frontline's an NPR thing, an NPR news.
Frontline. It's a good
NPR news thing. And this week's episode, very, very depressing, was on people that elderly people and healthcare in the United States. Just put a pillow over my head.
I know.
Seriously.
It's
if
sad.
you're 85 or older, it's a 60% chance that you are going to end up in some sort of assisted living home.
Yeah.
God bless whoever can live as long as they want to or can or whatever, but you're back in infant stage.
Right.
And I mean that seriously. You are back in infant stage at that form of life, at that stage of life. Not everybody. There are exceptions to the rule. You can live to be 100 and still have all your wits about you and all that. Great. But the majority, I mean, it was so depressing. I'm like, but it makes you think. It makes you kind of like, when's the right time to start to kind of, pull away from what, not have super nice or kind of whittle your life down to just, anyway, I'm not.
That's a good question because
you got to keep healthy, man.
You got to stay healthy, and I think you got to stay out of debt. And I think I saw something earlier last week that said U.S. citizens are $1 trillion in debt.
Yeah, so I saw this. I saw the same. I saw the same thing. The borrowing or the whatever they spend with a credit card is this amount, but then what you're saying, that total that the companies could get from that is like whatever
$1 trillion.
Trillion dollars.
That's like that's larger than the country of Sri Lanka's economy. We have more debt as a country, as citizens, than the country of Sri Lanka has in revenue. It's sad. And so I think that plays into the fact of retiring, where I think people get in their late 50s and 60s, and if they're not cleaned out in debt, they're going to be working till they're 70, right? 75. And then, I mean, you like to do something part-time, I guess, until you can't anymore. But yeah, it's I was at kind of a scary thought.
I was at Walmart this morning. Ran into Walmart, grabbed a few things, and going through of course, nobody. No,
there's I wish I had a camera watching that.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
So there's no nobody can run a damn cash register anymore. So I'm checking myself out. There's a lady standing there, not doing nothing. It's a very nice old lady.
Yeah,
we always kind of have a little small chat. She goes, enjoying your day off? I go, yeah. It's Saturday. I said, I'm really looking forward to my weekends. And she's like, well, you're probably getting close to retirement. I go, well, not really. I said, I don't know how old you think I am, but I got about 10 more years. And I said, to be honest with you, in my retirement years, this is one of the places I would like to work.
I want your job.
I want
your job.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm going to be working at Walmart.
Nothing wrong with that. Nope. I always think about Home Depot's garden section.
Oh yeah, you'd be fine in any hardware.
Yeah,
store.
I would love to work at the Home Depot garden section.
The Tony and Garden section.
Yeah.
We wouldn't call it lawn and garden. We would call it the Tony and Garden
section. Oh man, I love it. But yeah, I mean that's a great question. I don't know, man. The debt thing like kind of rocked me there. I was like, wow.
It should. There needs to be kids in high school need to be taught the P's and Q's, or just kind of get your. Yeah. Don't fall into this trap of
it's just brainwashing.
Be smart about
right?
money. Yep. Be smart about money. Be smart about what your credit score means, because your credit score means a ton. It's gonna weigh in
affects
on
a lot of things.
Yep. What
companies look at it.
Yep. I just don't understand why it's so taboo to discuss those kinds of things. I mean, when I was growing up, never was that talked about. Not even in a house that was never talked about.
I know.
It was always, it's none of your business or whatever.
Well, there's a finance guy I follow that says the same thing you said. He says that needs to be taught in high school. They don't teach money, how to control and save your money.
Yeah, the square root of an isosceles triangle divided by pi r squared, I
Yeah.
give two craps less about.
Right.
Yeah, learning, that other finances
Yeah.
just needs to be like in all the time. Like that needs to be an every year thing, mandatory. Every year you're going to take some sort of finance.
Just like physical ed or something, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Hopefully we'll get to that some point, but I don't think so. I think they kind of want us all conditioned.
Just
to,
go.
Yeah. Here's your credit card. You need a credit card, David. You need it.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to build credit?
19.7% interest rate.
You're 21.
And if you miss
Oh
a
my
payment,
God.
now it's 26.3.
And then my understanding is in college today, they just hand them out. So you can get a $250 credit card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just hand them out. And
That's
then,
one night at the bar. What's 200? Seriously, that's one night at the bar.
That's one night, Friday night out. Oh
Yeah,
my God, that's funny.
That's without eating.
Yeah.
That's just drinks.
You should be teaching them that. You should be right there when they're handing them out. Hey, that's only one night.
See, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this guy standing up here. Barely high school educated. Barely high school
Oh
educated.
man, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. But why? I mean, why is it okay that a college student needs to go into hundreds of $1,000s worth of debt to sell freight
I know.
or to
Right. So,
whatever?
It's
I'm not
true.
trying to. I'm not.
it's true though.
I'm not being whatever.
No.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
90%. You look at Jake and my buddy Jake has a diploma from UIndy.
Yeah.
To do what, dude?
I know.
And I'm not.
Right. It's a good school too.
Yeah, private school.
Yeah.
Really good school. And not.
No, I mean, David, 90% of the people in this country that got degrees aren't working in their field where they got the degree.
Right.
I mean, that just shows you how much of a kind
I'm
of
not saying don't get a
Yeah.
diploma, but it shouldn't cost what it costs.
No way, man. I mean, you know, you're better off going and buying to me, a Subway franchise and opening that up.
Right next to the other Subway franchise,
Yeah,
which
right.
happens.
Right.
I'm serious.
Right.
I'm serious.
I mean, you're probably going to make more money lifelong doing that than you would be going in and getting in $100,000 debt, coming out, and then working 10 years to pay your debt off.
That business is only as good as how you run it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
or any business.
Well,
Any
they're
business.
because I know the ones not to go to, right? The one in town here, I do not go to. The one on Cumberland, I go to.
Man, I don't want to. Is it because of how they're ran or who runs them or both? I'm not trying to be whatever.
I like tuna sandwiches.
Oh yeah.
So when I go to the one in town here, their tuna looks dried out and crusty, and they don't have it covered.
That's what I look like in the morning. Anyway.
But the one in Cumberland, it's kind of moist, and they've stirred it up recently, and so I'm like, I can't go there.
What's a better tuna sub, Subway or Jimmy John's, in your opinion? There's no wrong answer. Whatever your opinion is.
I'll throw another one in there. I think the best tuna sandwich you could possibly get at fast food right now would be Panera Bread.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The bread is better.
I think Jimmy John's.
I haven't really
tuna
had
is
theirs. I don't
effing
think.
phenomenal.
I don't think I've had theirs.
The bag of jalapeno chips.
Oh, really? I'll have to
Mm.
try that. I've not done theirs.
I'll have to try the Panera Bread.
Yeah.
I've never tried the Panera Bread. Go ahead.
Oh, it's just Panera Bread's on a square bread.
Okay.
They got a little bit of mayonnaise in there, tomato. They kind of load it up. It's like a healthy sandwich.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But minus the mayonnaise.
Yeah, minus the mayonnaise and the ton of salt they probably put on there.
Right.
But it's pretty good. I had it for the first time in a long time last week and was surprised. I was like, man, I hit their drive-through real quick and went through there and was like, wow.
The one single time I've been into a Panera Bread long time ago, my wife and I went in early on a Saturday morning, and I'd never been in. And so I'm looking at the menu, and they're like, can we help you? And I'm like, just a second.
Yeah.
And then they were kind of persistent again. Can I help you? And I'm like, look, motherfucker,
Yeah.
give me a second to look at the menu. Jesus.
Yeah. If you've not been in there, that can be
Give me a hold
there's
on.
a ton of stuff.
I mean, but I'm the same way. Like when I'm behind somebody at McDonald's and they're looking at the menu, I feel like saying, what are you looking at?
it's
It's the same
easiest.
damn thing that has been on the menu. They don't have hamburgers.
I know.
Everything's a cheeseburger.
You know, your fast food I hit recently was I hadn't done that in a long, long time. Is Long John Silver's.
Oh, How many days did you pay the price on that one?
I think I still am.
'Cause that stuff sits on
Oh
you.
yeah, I
Man,
should have
haven't
done it.
Where's the Long John Silver's at?
I was up in Wabash,
Oh,
and I was like, "Bam, I'll hit this Long John." A customer had to told me to
sounds
wait,
good.
so I couldn't meet them. They told me to wait, and I was like, "Man, I'm hungry. I'll just go hit this Long John." I poured all the malt vinegar on the hush puppies and fries.
Ooh.
Oh, it was good. And then I was like, kind of like that malt liquor or that malt vinegar sits in your.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh,
I didn't even think there was a Long John Silver's open anymore.
Yeah, well, it was a joint. It was
Like
you could eat KFC or Long John's. They're like, hey, welcome to KFC Long John Silver's. Can we help you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for Long John Silver's. And then I go ahead, we'll take your order. And then I go through, and then when you pull up, they first go, you ready to try our 30 basket special? And I was like, no, I'm here for Long John Silver's. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. But
Hold
remember,
on.
Long John just give you that hat.
Yeah.
Used to give you that hat and stuff.
Mhm. We
And-
used to go to so my dad was paid every other Thursday, and this when I was growing up, moms didn't have to work, so it's just shows
Yeah.
you how old I am. So every other Thursday, my dad would get paid, and so that was the day that mom would do grocery shopping, and we all got to go out to eat at Ponderosa.
Ooh,
Was when mom was getting groceries.
we did that too.
Ponderosa.
Ponderosa. Oh my God. The chopped steak special.
Yep.
Oh my
And
God.
the salad bar.
Yeah. The salad
And
bar.
we never got pop at home, and I would suck down like if it was 3 refills, I would be like,
David, you're on your
Never
fourth
got-
refill.
Yeah, slow down. You're gonna be
He's going to be up all night.
You're gonna ruin your meal. You know you're gonna ruin my meal. Should have.
We used to do that too. Every Friday night, we'd go to Ponderosa.
Ponderosa.
And they had that bread, the
Yep.
toasted bread where they
Mhm.
toast
The
it.
Texas toast.
Texas toast,
Yeah,
man.
with the chopped steak.
People don't believe
salad
it.
bar, all you could eat salad bar.
Yeah. People don't believe it, but Ponderosa was the shit back in the
Man,
day.
it was, and Bonanza.
Bonanza came out too.
Bunch of
Yeah.
beeps on this episode. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get in trouble again.
Oh my God. Bonanza folded quick.
Uh-huh.
And then
I bet there's. I'm gonna guess. I don't. There's probably still a handful of Ponderosa.
there's one in Greenfield.
Oh really?
Yeah. Haven't
Right
been
down the
to it.
road here.
Yeah. Right down the road. Yeah.
I'll be damned.
I think it's still there. I think it's
Hmm.
still there. I'll have to, well, I don't know. I think it's still there.
We'll just say
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
Denny's in Lebanon closed.
Oh, it did?
Mm,
I
don't
love
know.
Denny's.
I did too. They built one right there in Whitestown, and that thing closed right away.
Wonder why.
That's a good question. I don't understand. I mean, when the one in Lebanon closed, I'm like, all right, there's one in Whitestown. Nope,
Yeah.
closed already. That's a heavy traffic area.
Yeah, I think would
Heavy.
think Denny's does well. They're always located pretty good places
Mhm,
and things, but
mhm.
man,
Denny's had the best nachos. I know that's hard
Really?
to believe. Denny's had the best nachos. They
Wow.
were so good.
I never
Right.
had them.
Back in my high school day, back in high school, when we would get off work at the Catfish restaurant we all worked at, we would drive to Lafayette and go get Denny's, and God, it was so good. And that's when we were skinny skinny back then. Not anymore.
Yeah,
Those were the days, man.
Denny's is the bomb, man.
Yeah.
They have closed a lot of them. I wonder why.
Yeah, you would think that those would thrive, but
Yeah.
what do I know?
And Bob Evans.
Do you guys eat out much? We don't eat out at all.
We don't hardly ever eat out. We have ordered carry out at the Mexican place across the street here. Absolutely incredible.
El Toro.
Oh my God. The fajitas.
Mm-hmm.
You know how, like, just give you an example. Sometimes you get a fajita or you go to a place like that's really not known for steaks or whatever. Then you're pulling the fat pieces out of your mouth the whole time, right?
Right.
Not happening, dude. Unbelievable.
I bet it's packed in there.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
People driving their golf carts over.
Mm-hmm.
They got the flashing lights
gotta be.
going on at night. Yeah, it's packed. It's
Mhm.
packed. Ann's been over there with some girlfriends, and I guess the bar is pretty nice. And
Okay.
they make some good drinks there.
Hmm.
And fortunately for us, we could just walk across the street
Yeah.
or take the mini bike.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. Just jet across with Ann on the back of the mini bike.
Right. Hold on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wouldn't be smart. But yeah, so it's
It's a good
happening.
spot too.
Yeah, it is.
Whatever's in there, you would think would do well.
Seems like everything that's been there is done well.
Right.
So anyways, David B is gonna hit us up.
Well, you are listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. I know we haven't talked anything about shipping today or whatever, but sorry, transportainment.
David B's going to hit us up with industry news.
Just going to read some industry headlines from this week's Transport Topics because I didn't do my homework is why I'm doing this. So the first headline, and without reading any further into this, and I know we've talked about this topic ad nauseum, but the first one is Yellow looks to finalize bankruptcy by the 15th of August. So I'm like, finalize bankruptcy? Haven't they already just bankrupt or whatever? What is there to kind of finalize? And kind of the very first sentence is Yellow Corp continues to work to potential financiers, one of which including Estes Express Lines, who are looking to offer more affordable alternative bankruptcy financing for the LTL company.
Yeah.
So if you're not paying, how are you going to pay? How are they going to pay their bills? Am I missing something?
I think I don't understand.
Is it just all through liquidation?
Yeah,
then?
I think so.
Oh.
So I think whoever finances that gets an inside seat to kind of those assets.
So it would be smart for Estes to do that then.
I think it'd be smart for any carrier to do that. Because especially if you need those assets, right? You're going to.
The terminals.
Yeah, the terminals, the equipment. I mean, you think about a carrier that size, they have a ton of equipment.
So I wonder how many, just thinking out loud, I wonder how many Estes terminals are kind of maybe, or not Estes, but old Yellow terminals are close to interstates. And maybe if Estes buys them up or whoever, there's parking for semis.
There are, yeah. Ton of them.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not charge. I don't know if you charge for that. Again, there's some drivers out there that can make it difficult because clean up after yourselves. I mean, that's kind of, we had this discussion a month ago. Coffee, tea, or pee. What is that outside? Let's go and find out what's that big wet spot right outside the door.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I think it just puts some people, if you get that position, you're in the driver's seat and you get some access to some liquidity option, availability of equipment and terminals. So I think the government, though, has got first dibs on all this because they own 30% of it. So it'd be kind of, I haven't driven by a terminal lately, but I would imagine they've got to have everything pulled out and laid out now versus, stuff back to the door and laying all over the parking lot. I imagine Yellow's system is probably cleaned out by now.
You would think so. All of ours, we had 5 shipments in their thing. They all have been rescued and delivered, which it really wasn't that big of a challenge. They made it pretty easy.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing is they were a professional organization. I figured it'd be different than CF where people were just fighting for months to get their stuff back. So.
I remember when LME and New England Motor Freight went under, they themselves delivered it out.
Yeah, right.
So
they paid the people. And I think Yellow did a little bit of that. At some terminals paid people to stay on staff. But yeah, I guess it'll all be wrapped up and soon. And man, it's just still kind of a surprise, but not a surprise, but it's just kind of especially if you work there, you had a relationship like you did. There's a little bit of emotional stuff there that you're kind of like, man, wow.
In 10 years, I wonder how much is that a roadway truck? Is it a cast iron or die cast?
Yeah, that's a
truck?
die cast one. Yeah.
So I wonder how much that'd be worth in
I know
10-ish years. Or 15.
I know.
Or you finance and retirement through that.
Probably. I mean, my God, we had, I found some old Roadway golf tees the other day in a bag. Yeah. It was, said Roadway Express. It's like, wow. I'm not going to use them. I'll just hang on to them. But yeah, I had a couple die cast. I kept I think I got that one.
Well, Roadway did that Savannah Smile.
Yeah.
Is that the name of it?
Christina Smile.
That's it, Christina Smile.
I like Savannah Smile, though, better. That does sound better.
The golf outing.
Christina Smile.
South, the southern part of the state. Is that right?
They would do it a couple different places, yeah. One I was involved in was in Clayton, Indiana. They did a Christina Smile event there. It was they used to send around the dental unit to poor areas in our cities and do free dental work on kids, which I thought there's a couple times I thought, man, I need to get in the back of that van and get some dental work, you know?
Yep, me too. So July 8th,
Especially if it's free.
Yes. July Class 8 sales are up 2.5% year over year. So that's kind of a number I wouldn't have expected to, or a headline that I would have expected to read. I know this is boring. It's just my part of the show today. Just kind of reading through this. The National Truck Driving Championships are going on in Columbus, Ohio. I think that's where they are. They're back in Indy next year.
Is Bill going there?
That's different.
That's different. Okay.
Bill's going to California.
That's right.
Richland, California, I think, or something like that. So, but Bill's going to be, shout out to Bill. I hope he does well.
Bill's a good man.
When
I like
is
Bill.
that? When is, I don't remember when he said that.
Man, it's coming up. God.
Let's see what else. Yellow Files, Chapter 11. Blah blah blah. We talked about this in pre-show. The United States Postal Service is pressured. The word pressured, Tony, to provide water for all mail carriers.
Oh man,
you can't bring your own water.
It's unbelievable, right?
Am I missing something?
So in UPS's contract, I'm glad you brought that up. In UPS's contract, they have to supply the driver water.
UPS has to
supply them water.
Has to.
Yeah.
12 months a year?
I think so. I don't know what the stipulations are, but they might just be during the summer months. But
I bring my own water.
There was a video running around. I'll have to send it to you.
I'm not trying to be whatever, but
yeah,
it's
odd. There's a video of a UPS driver delivering a package, and he's on the porch and he collapses, and he was dehydrated, and so I think that spun the whole thing. And anyway, so I think they're giving him water, a part of their negotiations, which everybody needs water. But I mean, and I know in LTL world we'll have water available at the Estes Greenwood terminal. Got thousands of cases of water, man, on hand that they give, that the people are able to come in and just grab them as they want.
The dock workers.
Yeah. And so I mean, a lot of water. So I think some companies think about that and do that. And I think it's, as a human, it's your responsibility to hydrate yourself, David.
Yeah.
You know,
I try to drink a gallon of water a day.
Man, it's amazing.
I get at least a half a gallon, but
that's pretty good.
I pee all the time.
Hey, and it's good pee.
Yes. That's the thing. Not to be weird. I guess we're already weird. Not to be weird. We already are weird.
Yeah.
The consistent thing that I'm noticing is that the color of the urine is far better than it used to be at a consistent level. It's like the color of watered down lemonade and not orange juice.
Right, exactly.
Which is what it used to be.
The yellowish
juice,
yeah.
Colored.
Man.
Enough talk about urine.
Yeah. So what else did you have?
I think that's it.
Pretty much it.
I'm not. I just didn't. I thought we had a guest, and I didn't
backed
get
out.
one, and yeah.
That's
my fault.
You do a good job with that.
So I didn't want to not do a show today. So
yeah,
just came unprepared.
So I have one here that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's we'll take a look at the less than truckload carriers kind of revenue, and shockingly, the 3PLs.
Okay. I'm curious to hear these numbers.
Surprising. So this is as of 2023, largest for higher LTL carriers. So FedEx is a $10 billion. We knew that. Old Dominion's up to $6 billion. Yellow was a $4.5 billion. They're out now, right?
Mm-hmm.
XPO's a 4.5.
Go ahead.
Estes is a $4.5 billion. Those numbers are going to change.
So based on that list, XPO is now number 3. Is that what we're saying, or you're saying?
FedEx 1, Old Dominion 2, XPO would be 3, 4 would be Estes. Transforce would be 5th, ABF would be 6th, RNL would be 7th, Saia would be 8th.
So are you guessing, is it fair to guess those top 3, top 4 more than likely are going to add a minimum of 500 grand.
Oh, 500 million?
Easy?
Maybe quarter to half, I would imagine. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, I would
okay.
imagine.
Okay. All right.
Had to. Some of these carriers that are smaller are not going to be not equipped to take areas of that freight. You know what I mean? They might have already been swelling at the seams.
Right.
But what's shocking to me about it is, how much do you think C.H. Robinson's worth? 3PL side now.
But see, this seems high. The 3 billion?
Way higher.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
10 billion.
They put through $22 billion in revenue.
No.
They're worth about $6 billion. So, and then Expeditors, UPS Supply Chain, Cooney Nagel's $12 billion.
Where is this list?
It's unbelievable.
Where is
Armstrong and Associates?
Thank
Good
you.
question. Armstrong and Associates. The LTL list came from Transport Topics.
Okay.
Armstrong and Associates is a research firm.
So $22 billion.
That's what they put through the revenue.
$6 billion
And that's what they're worth.
Damn.
I mean, that's amazing.
I had no idea.
UPS Supply Chain.
How do you,
$14
if you're a
billion.
logistics, let's just say you're a chief logistics officer, if you might know one, how do you warrant doing business with a C.H. Robinson or somebody like that when you can just, that's stuff you can do on your own? You
I
can
know.
get better pricing on your own going through a ABF or
Whoever.
FedEx or
Yeah.
Saya. I don't understand the concept of, is it the convenience of never having to mess with any of that stuff, or I don't know.
It's brokering it. It's just brokering it on their TMS system. And then you have, they obviously do a lot of truckload, and they're heavy into the produce
Right.
is what they do. They a lot of they're probably move. One time I thought over half the produce in the country.
Dang it.
They have brokerage.
And they just laid off a poop ton of people.
Yeah. 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 The surprise here was JB Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
11 billion,
No way.
fifth.
Wow.
I mean, Uber, 6 billion,
Mhm.
Uber Freight, 6 billion.
How you,
I mean,
again, Uber. Oh,
It's
Uber
nuts.
Freight. Holy cow.
Uber Freight, it just started like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Just thought that those were kind of interesting comparisons.
We need to start our own company. Call it the 19th Green Logistics.
19
whatever.
Green
I don't know.
Logistics. Oh man. It is wow. I mean, I was just surprised by that. No big deal, but
If you think about, but listening to you and talking about those numbers, even if you have just a small percentage of that, you are doing fine.
yes.
You read about every day. This week there was a logistics company that went under or whatever. How
Yeah.
did it go under?
I think it might be easier for some of the smaller ones, because I think what they do, so like if they were to take over your account, all that revenue you do, which may not be profit to them, they report that as gross revenue. So then it looks like they're super huge. So then they go to the banks and they get their loans and they do all these finances and they get favorable loans as a big company, because it looks like they're doing a shit ton of business, right? When we're in reality, the profit isn't that great for them. But I mean, C.H. Robinson it is, but most of them it's not. So yeah, it's really a weird thing. Worldwide Express, 4.6 billion.
Who was I talking to?
Wow.
I was talking to somebody this week that they're like, yeah, we just use Worldwide. I go, what?
Yeah.
Why? What's the incentive to use something like that?
There's a big ass account in Lebanon that's all they use. And it's just shocking. They're actually kind of smart people. And it's like, what? And I'm like, that you could do different things and get the same thing. They just don't want to hear it. Just don't want to hear it. And they used to be forever like local. Boom, 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 boom.
Aurora Parts.
No. Close.
Wow. I don't understand.
Just shocking.
I don't understand it. I mean, whatever works. I mean, I'm sure people look at my business model and say, what? So you only do business with people who you drink with? Yeah, kind of. Pretty much.
Excuse me. Yeah. So anyways, that's kind of a shocker. And you can get this information, like David asked me Armstrong and Associates.
Armstrong and Associates.
Yeah, it's and then
Armstrong and Associates.
less than truckload. So
I'd like to read that. I'm going to read that story.
yeah, it's got them all listed here. The top 50.
And it broke down top 50 brokerages and top however many LTL. Is that the way? It's
Well, I had to go to
broken
two
down?
different sites. I just wanted to do a contrast of
I got
you know what I mean?
Perfect.
So FedEx the logistics wing of FedEx does $2 billion.
Wow.
Transforce brokerage $1.6 billion.
Wow. Well, Yellow Logistics had to be big.
It was not listed in the top 50.
Well, maybe not.
So either Yellow didn't break it out, or it's not in the top
I bet
50.
they didn't break it out.
It's probably what it is.
Mhm.
They didn't break it out. So because I would imagine it probably, like you said, it's probably in that. It's
Yeah.
probably definitely was one of the probably maybe top 30.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Arc Best Logistic Wing $1 billion.
Mhm.
Wow.
We have a customer that ships out of us, third party, and that's who they use.
Yeah.
ArcBest.
I've seen a little bit of that lately. But you still got FedEx, Old Dominion, XPO, Estes, TFI. I mean, ABF has crept up there, man. Looks like they've done a lot of good things. R&L, Saia, obviously creeping up there. Southeast Motor Freight, Central Transport, now 11th, will be 10th largest. And Dayton Freight will be 12. Wow.
I can see that. Yeah. Where was Saya on that list? Sorry.
Saia was 9th before. Now they'll be 8th.
Mm-hmm. Dayton's growing, and they seem to be growing. If there is a right way to do something, they seem to be kind of slow grow.
They seem to manage it well.
There we
yeah.
go.
What's amazing is they're only in like X amount of states.
The Midwest.
And
pretty
they're a quarter the size of some of these national long haul carriers. I mean, they're going to be near $2 billion. I mean, that's just astonishing that it's all in these states, right? So,
the flyover states.
yeah, I mean, it's really impressive. And then Pitt, Ohio is right behind Dayton, which they've got the Dorn. I think Dorn would be in those numbers too. And then AAA Cooper is behind them. So AAA Cooper would be the 14th. And then the Mullen Group, who I've never heard of, is 15th.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. So Averett is now 11th. So, and they're a pretty good carrier, what they do. So, but yeah, it's just interesting to Roadrunner will be 19th. It's just amazing that.
That carrier right there is the carrier that I just wonder if they're going to maybe try to be the new Yellow Roadway, whatever, just based on their business model. I don't know.
Well, they got some of their leadership, right? I think
Yeah.
in the past, I don't know if the people are still there, but
Right. 3 days to Cincinnati.
that should be the name of our new rock band.
Right. 3 days to Cincinnati.
3 days to Cincinnati.
Be performing in Cincinnati, not
From
knowing where
Louisville.
we are. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Cincinnati.
Where are we?
You guys aren't in Cincinnati anymore. man.
Dumbasses.
But yeah, so that's the numbers there. So and again, you can get it off Transport Topics, the LTL
Interesting.
side, and Armstrong
Yeah.
Associates for
And
the
Curious to
truckload,
see the
or
next quarter
3PLs.
numbers, what
Yeah.
those look like.
Oh yeah, it's going to change. It's going to change. It's amazing. Some of these carriers, when you and I first started in this business, the top, let's see, 1, 2, 3 they weren't in the top 3 back then. I
No,
mean,
Roadway, Yellow,
ABF, Holland,
Overnight,
Overnight. Yeah, those were your top back in the day.
mm-hmm.
And then
American Freightways.
Yeah, American Freightways, Watkins Motor Group.
Mm-hmm.
When people come with a big ass briefcase and say, "Hey,
Watkins spent money.
yeah, Watkins was a decent carrier."
Mm-hmm.
American Freightways was a good carrier. Where I was in Illinois, they were man, they dominated.
I forget the gal that was a sales rep at Watkins. She did a really, really good job.
I think I remember her. They had some good reps.
Little bitty.
Yeah.
Yep. It was good. Then, American Freightways bought them.
They interviewed with me one time, and they had a guy that ran their HR who was old, man. He was really old.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been in his 80s back then. And he literally fell. I must have been the most boring interview he ever had. He literally fell asleep in the interview. And then the terminal manager took over the interview and was apologizing. And I was like, well,
I was going to join him.
yeah, I was like, man, I was like, wow. So then I leave and they're like, you got it. We want you. And I'm like, what? I put a guy to sleep. And they're like, oh, he always does that. And I was like, what?
Never
I'm like,
mind.
why do you put him on? Why
Is
do you
that
bring him to the interview?
Narcolepsy? Is that what that is?
I think he was just old.
I know.
And he was
but
just tired. I don't know. Narcolepsy. Yeah. Narcoleptic or yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. We're just fall asleep. But yeah, anyway, it was an odd interview.
Producer Tony putting people to sleep.
Yeah. Boom. Boom. If you're listening now, wake up.
Yeah. Get up.
Get up and get out. But anyway, so that's the list of that. Kaboom. Did you have any? We
I
got
do. So those of you that are still listening to the Ships Can Happen podcast,
it's still listening.
hopefully you are.
Yeah.
And I can understand if you're not. So producer Tony, let's say it's Friday evening and you've had a long work week and you're going to order a pizza. What is your preferred crust of a pizza? Thin, pan? Again, there's no wrong answer.
I've been going back and forth. Like if it's if there was a Lou Malnati's nearby,
There
I
are.
nearby.
Yeah.
I just get deep crust. But Donato's crust, I like that. Lately, we've been hitting up the Donato's pretty good.
Okay. Is there one close?
Yeah, there's one down off Washington Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we have to pick it up.
Those
though.
ingredients are phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really
they
good.
They use some good ingredients.
It's really good stuff.
I would go with that crust too. Nice thin crust.
Yeah, we tend to go thin crust, and Jake like the thin crust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't all the time. It depends on who does it.
I think when I was a kid, there was nothing better. When I was a kid, there was nothing better than a pan pizza. From
Oh yeah,
Pizza Hut.
right.
But now that you're older, I'm like, I don't want all that bread.
I know.
Look what it did to me.
I know. It's a snack after you eat the pizza.
With
The
you
bread.
have, but you have to have some sort of dipping sauce for
Oh
that
yeah,
bread.
right. Oh yeah.
Preferably nacho cheese.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I would take
Marinara.
marinara. Yeah, marinara sauce. Yeah.
All right.
I used to eat that Pizza Hut down to the end of the pizza, and then
Because it was crunchy.
yeah, it was really good.
Mhm.
And you could basically get the same pizza. There's things about these franchises. You could basically get the same wherever you go. Pizza Hut be the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like McDonald's, kind of. It's
Yeah.
not always the case with some of them. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Papa John's, I think, is true too. It's always kind of the same. But we ordered one, and it's kind of just like a sloppy presentation of the pizza, and it's like they put a lot of heart and thought into it. It's like
Like this podcast.
yeah, like this podcast. It's fun.
All right. Yeah. So I would go thin crust.
You'd go thin?
I think so. Yeah. Just I don't need all the. I don't want or need. To your point, though, I mean, if it is like a pan pizza from Pizza Hut, there has to be something to dip the. I don't
Crust.
do the garlic butter. Well,
You don't like
I
that?
do not.
I like it.
Teach their own, though.
Can't be healthy for you though.
Well, nothing is. That's why they don't serve. Well, they do serve veggie pizzas, but
And Papa John's gotten greedy with that. They don't give you. They used to give you like 2 or 3 garlics. Now you got to buy them.
yeah, and the peppers.
ridiculous.
What do they call the little peppers?
Pepperoncinis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love those.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah.
They only give you 1 now.
Cheap.
You got to ask for extras. I mean, how much is a pepperoni?
I just buy a bottle of them.
Oh, do ya?
Refrigerator.
I should
just
do
for
that.
Because the best thing to do, in my opinion, I think those are put in there. And I'm sure there's somebody listening is going to correct this. I think they put those pepperoni things in there to put the juice on the pizza. I don't know that to be factual, but like if you bite into one or squeeze one, the juice just goes.
Yeah,
wow.
right.
I think that
Ah.
yeah, I put that juice on my. I put that.
And their bread's soft.
Uh-huh.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
that can't be good.
Right.
I need some hard bread on my
Right.
pizza, man. You ever eat a real Italian pizza?
I
Like
don't think so.
the way they do it, it's thin.
You mean
crust.
like an oven fired or a coal fired?
Well, if you were to go to Italy or Sicily and get a pizza,
okay,
it's going to be like on paper thin bread.
like a cracker
Yeah,
crust.
right. They don't do it
Okay.
like we do it, and it's
Fast.
it's authentic, like it's the
You
real
mean-
pepperoni.
You mean Pizza Hut's not?
No, they're
Son of a-
it's processed
Right.
ingredients
Mhm.
over there. That's like the tomato is extra thin sliced, like it
Mhm.
like falls apart, and then the pepperoni was about as long as your finger, twisted, like it like baked into it.
Anchovies.
Oh my God, no anchovies! I don't think you can get an Italian pizza in Italy. They probably slap you in the face.
I bet.
No anchovies
I would bet anchovies are probably more common over there.
Yeah, they are.
Wouldn't you think, or no?
Anchovies and onion, I think they put on there.
Ooh, let's make out.
Do you have any chewing gum?
Yeah. Nope. I just ate onion and anchovy pizza, baby.
Oh,
and then so my other one is, and I know you and I are way older and probably don't give two craps about a scenario like this, but if you are at a wedding or if you are out late, do you prefer to be somewhere? Do you prefer that, like the wedding or the whatever, have a live band or a live DJ? Or do you care? I mean,
as long as the drinks are free, I don't care.
oh, wow.
It could be live band's good, but sometimes these DJs are pretty good too.
Yeah. You're not going to get a live band to play the Humpty bands.
No, well, you'd have to be a pretty,
Well, I mean, maybe you could, I guess, but
yeah, pretty dynamic band to be able to play all the music at a wedding, right?
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I've ever been to one with a live band.
I'm drawing a blank on the weddings I've been to in the past, whether it's been a band or a DJ. I'm just going to automatically assume they were DJs. I don't remember.
Yeah, I've been to some good ones. We had one not too long. Shelby had a friend get married, and it was outdoor. That was one of the best weddings I'd ever been to. It was really cool. And
I try to avoid all that stuff, like
Yeah.
the effing plague. People.
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah,
not today.
it was a good time though. They had it was a good time. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. You can see that.
Watching those kids grow up, and then now they're all getting married, and it's kind of good stuff. You look around, and it's like, I look in the mirror, and I'm like, man, I don't feel like I'm getting too old.
So how old do you feel?
Man, I don't feel like I'm really.
Do you feel in your 30s? Do you feel
I
in
feel like
your
I'm
40s?
in my 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I feel like kind of,
Early 40s.
yeah, maybe like 42.
Somebody pegged me at 44 yesterday. Oh, yeah. Right,
Did you give him a
okay.
hug?
I did. Not for that reason.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you're trying to flatter, but you're not even close.
David, what are you, 42?
Right.
Yeah.
My waistline.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm at 36 right now.
Jesus. At 44.
Swelling at 36. But yeah, man. So it's next week will be, man, August is flying by. It's getting darker. Earlier, it was hanging on to about 9:30. Now it's getting about 8:50.
So I think we've had this discussion in the past. To me, I think this is so stupid. We're on daylight saving time anyway. I would just rather not move the clocks at all and be kind of where we used to be. But I think daytime should be the front end of the day. I think we should be. I don't like it being daylight until 9:30 or whatever. I prefer the sun coming up at 5:30 instead of 6:30 or whatever. That's just I prefer.
Well,
Whatever.
I think it's gonna.
though.
So say that again.
I prefer, like, if we were to. So I would want to be on Central Time. Probably the easier way to
Okay.
say it is
Okay.
that I would rather be on Central Time. Where
Okay.
the sun's coming up at 5:20 and not 6:20, and the sun is going down at
Yeah.
8 p.m. versus 9:30, whatever. It
Yeah.
is. I just prefer the front end of the daylight, not the back end of the day. But I'm a morning person, so
Well, the
that's
Dave-
just me.
no, it's well because you grew up in Indiana on Central Time back in the day. I did too in Illinois.
Yeah. Well, technically, we just didn't ever change clocks. But in the summertime,
Okay.
on the summertime, we were technically on Central Time.
Okay, yeah.
And the East Coast was an hour ahead of us. And then in the fall, we were on Eastern Time when they would drop back,
We just never changed them back then.
Never changed
Okay.
which I liked. Why are we changing clocks in the first place? And if we were to go back to not changing clocks, I would want to wait till we go back into the fall and then not change. If that makes sense.
No, it does because it's a problem nationwide. It looks. I looked it up while you're talking about it here. It looks like I'm trying to read it here. U.S. Senate approves bill to make daylight saving time permanent.
See, that's what I wouldn't want. I would want to make standard time permanent.
U.S. Marco Rubio, one of the bill sponsors, said that supporters agreed to change would not take place until November of 2023.
Oh.
So that's right around the corner. The change.
What now?
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to be moving them forward anymore or back. So it says, I got to understand this change would help enable children to play outdoor later. There's
So
no
we're
children playing outdoor these days.
Yeah.
Reduce seasonal depression.
They can't play out and they can't play outside we played out at nighttime all the time.
They're all playing video games. They're not going outside. I mean, look right now down my street. There's a ton of kids. Do you see them out? No. They're either playing video games or
You ever
doing something.
a protective ordinance or something?
Yeah, there's a protective ordinance.
Against Tony.
There's a suicide. There's a serial killer in the neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, so it says 30 states are on board, want to do this. So it looks like it's around the corner. I'll do some research and next week come up with a better answer here, but it looks like we're not going to be changing them anymore. I thought that was coming.
Yeah.
Here's one, oldfarmersalmanac.com. Changing clocks for the last time. Latest news, the history of daylight saving time. Oh my God, I don't know. Clocks spring ahead, March 12, 23. But will this be the last time they change? Last March, the Senate. So I guess it's still up in the air.
So that's the thing. I don't want them like when we fall back, just my opinion,
Yeah.
is when we should not change.
Here's some interesting stats. 33% preferred standard time year round.
That's what I just said. Only 33% though.
46 preferred daylight saving time all year round.
No.
21% said, hey, we'll just keep switching the clocks. We don't care.
Of course you don't. Because you're a moron.
So in other words, they want to stick to a single year. Okay, so it looks like it might be.
So
you just got to nail it down when they're going to do it.
Thing, yeah. So anyway, the majority of the people want some sort of fixed.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
For me, coming from Illinois, I was always happy to be on Eastern Time. When Mitch Daniels changed it here, I actually liked it. And the reason is I hated coming home. In Chicago, I can remember going home at 4:30 and it pitch dark. And you're like, man, this is horrible.
I get that.
Go to school or work when it's dark, come home when it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
To me, something, I don't know. I like it to be
it.
light earlier. It would seem like that would be more beneficial to society to wake up and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. People,
That's why we do this podcast.
yeah.
But nobody else will take it.
Nobody else wants to talk about daylight savings
Mhm.
time.
Click. For those of you still listening, thank you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
So the opening music that we do on this podcast is the band called Bella's Bartok. For those of you interested, they will be performing in Lafayette at People's Brewery on the 22nd of this month, out on the patio. So I highly recommend going. I know it's all the way up Lafayette, but it'd be a good show, and if you like that intro music, they will be there.
There it is.
So yeah, Bella's Bartok.
Good band. We had one of the guys, the guitarist, on the show.
Right. Yep. He's no longer with the band.
Oh, he's not?
Oh, they kicked him off for doing the podcast. No.
Oh.
But he is gone.
He is gone? Okay. He was fun to talk to.
Rich is a good dude.
Interesting guy.
Yeah. I'd like to bring him back. He's he's always been a wayward. I don't know if that's the right word. He's always been kind of a master of all trades.
Yeah, because he did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and he just
like sailing and stuff.
Yep, he's living on a boat now.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that lifestyle, but maybe he's
Yeah.
doing it the right way. Because good luck buying a home in these day and age. This day and age.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Good luck. It ain't easy.
Crazy. So thanks again for listening
Yeah.
to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Follow us on Facebook, smash or YouTube, smash that like button, click subscribe. There we go. We're on all the platforms, as producer Tony mentioned, and leave us a comment, whether you like us or not, or whatever. It's fine. So
Good stuff, man. Ship's Gonna Happen, number 113. We are out. Happy Saturday. Have a great weekend.